Nathan Cole's fingers hovered over the keyboard, the cursor blinking mockingly on the empty screen. The city sprawled beneath his high-rise window, a constellation of lights that had long lost their magic. His phone buzzed. Daniel again. "You're not a robot, Nate," the voicemail said. "I set you up on a coffee date this Saturday. Don't cancel this time." Nathan exhaled slowly, staring at his reflection in the darkened screen. When had he become this person? The one who measured life in deadlines and forgot what laughter sounded like. He texted back a single word, "Fine." Saturday morning arrived with reluctant sunlight. Nathan sat in the corner of Maple and Main Cafe, checking his watch for the 5th time. Maya Torres was now 20 minutes late. He'd give her 5 more minutes, then he'd leave and tell Daniel this whole blind date thing was a mistake. He reached for his coat, just as a small voice interrupted him. "Excuse me, are you Mr. Nathan?" A little boy stood beside his table, clutching a crumpled napkin with careful hands. He had dark curls and eyes that seemed too knowing for someone so small. This had to be a mistake. "Ah, yes," Nathan said, confused. "My mom said to tell you she's really, really sorry. She'll be here soon. There was traffic, and then she couldn't find parking, and then I had to use the bathroom twice." The boy delivered this explanation with the seriousness of a diplomat announcing a treaty. Nathan blinked. "Your mom is Maya?" "Uh-huh. I'm Ben. I'm 4.5. He held up his fingers to demonstrate, though the count was slightly off. "Can I sit? I promise I won't touch anything." "Well, maybe the sugar packets, but just to build with." Something about the boy's earnest expression made Nathan's careful walls crack just slightly. "Sure. Have a seat." Ben climbed onto the chair across from him, legs swinging well above the floor. He immediately began arranging sugar packets into a careful pyramid. "So, Mr. Nathan, what do you do?" "I'm an architect. I design buildings. Like skyscrapers." Ben's eyes went wide. "Sometimes. Do they have secret passages?" Nathan almost smiled. "Not usually. That's sad. Buildings should have more secret passages." Ben tilted his head thoughtfully. "My mom makes pictures. She paints trees, but they're always sad trees. I tell her to paint happy trees, but she says sad trees sell better. Adults are weird about what makes them happy." The observation landed with unexpected weight. Nathan found himself actually looking at this child, really seeing him. "That's pretty insightful for someone who's 4. 4.5, Ben corrected seriously. "The half is important." The cafe door chimed, and a woman rushed in, her hair escaping from a hasty ponytail, paint stains on her jeans despite the obvious attempt to look presentable. She spotted Ben, and her shoulders dropped with visible relief. "Ben, sweetheart, I told you to wait by the door." She turned to Nathan, mortification coloring her cheeks. "I'm so sorry. You must be Nathan. I'm Maya." This is the worst first impression ever, I know. The sitter canceled last minute, and I couldn't just not show up in. "Mom, Ben interrupted. He's nice. We've been talking about secret passages." Nathan stood, and something about Maya's genuine distress made him want to ease it. "It's fine. Really. Ben's been great company." Maya slid into the seat beside her son, still apologizing. "I almost didn't come. I mean, I wanted to, but single mom, surprise kid, not exactly what people sign up for on a blind date, right?" She was rambling now, words tumbling over each other. "Daniel probably didn't mention Ben because he knew you'd run screaming, which would be totally fair, and—" "Mom," Ben said again louder. "Breathe." She stopped, laughed, a real laugh that transformed her entire face. Nathan felt something shift in his chest. "Out of the mouths of babes," she murmured, ruffling Ben's hair. "I'm not a babe. I'm 4.5, Ben protested. Nathan found himself laughing too, the sound rusty from disuse. "Should we order something? I think we're past the point of awkward small talk." They stayed for 2 hours. Conversation flowed in unexpected directions. Maya's illustrations for children's books, Nathan's current project, designing a community center, Ben's detailed theories about why superheroes never seem to need regular jobs. Maya spoke about Ben's father leaving when he was 2, her voice steady but her eyes guarded, watching for Nathan's reaction. "I get it if this is too much," she said quietly, while Ben was distracted by a passing dog outside the window. Most guys hear single mom and suddenly remember urgent appointments. Nathan surprised himself by reaching across the table, not quite touching her hand, but close enough that she'd know it was intentional. I don't have any urgent appointments. Ben turned back to them, studying Nathan with unsettling focus. Mom, I think you should marry him. He listens better than Uncle James. And he hasn't checked his phone once. That's how you know someone's actually nice. Maya's face went crimson. Ben! But Nathan was laughing again, and Maya was laughing despite her embarrassment, and Ben looked pleased with himself. Before they left, Ben pulled out a stubby crayon and drew on a napkin. 3 stick figures at a table, lopsided but unmistakable. He wrote in careful block letters, MOM plus Nathan plus pancakes equals happy. Nathan folded it carefully, sliding it into his wallet. Can I see you both again? Maya's smile was worth every minute of awkwardness. Yeah, I'd really like that. The weeks that followed rewrote Nathan's understanding of what life could hold. Sunday afternoons building elaborate block towers with Ben, while Maya painted in the corner, her brush moving in contemplative strokes. A disastrous attempt to fly a kite in the park that ended with Nathan tangled in string and Ben laughing so hard he got hiccups. Late-night phone calls with Maya after Ben was asleep, their voices soft and tired but content, talking about nothing and everything. Nathan found himself leaving work at reasonable hours. Found himself thinking less about deadlines and more about whether Ben would like the new dinosaur book he'd spotted at the bookstore. Daniel noticed, of course. You're different, Daniel said one afternoon at the office. In a good way. You smile at your phone now. It's unsettling. Is it that obvious? You left at 5:30 yesterday, Nate. 5:30. I almost called the doctor. Nathan threw a pencil at him, but he was grinning. The shift happened on a Wednesday evening. Nathan had come by Maya's apartment to drop off dinner. She'd mentioned a deadline, and he'd learned she forgot to eat when she was working. He was letting himself out when he heard her voice from the kitchen, talking to someone on the phone. I know, Sarah. I really like him. But I can't let Ben get too attached, you know? What if Nathan wakes up one day and realizes this isn't the life he signed up for? He's this brilliant architect with his whole future ahead of him. Why would he want to be saddled with someone else's kid? The words hit like a physical blow. Nathan left quietly, the food containers still on the counter. He went back to his old patterns. Late nights at the office. Unanswered messages. The view from his window felt just as empty as before, but now he knew what he was missing, which somehow made it worse. Maya called. Texted. He sent brief replies. Work was busy. He'd call soon. Sorry. The distance stretched between them like a wound. On Thursday afternoon, Nathan's office door opened without warning. Ben stood there, holding a small lunchbox, Daniel sheepish behind him. He was very insistent, Daniel said. Something about making sure you eat. Ben walked into the office with the confidence of someone on an important mission. He set the lunchbox on Nathan's desk, then climbed into the chair across from him, legs swinging just like that first day at the cafe. Mom said you might forget to eat again, Ben announced. She's been sad. She thinks you're busy, but I told her you don't forget things. You just get scared. Nathan felt his throat tighten. Ben, My dad got scared too. Ben continued, his voice matter of fact, but his eyes serious beyond his years. Mom told me when I was older. He got scared of being a dad, so he left. But you're not like him, Mr. Nathan. I know because you fold my drawings and keep them. Dad never even looked at my drawings. Something broke open in Nathan's chest. He came around the desk and knelt in front of Ben, tears stinging his eyes. You're right. I am scared. I'm terrified of messing this up because you and your mom, you matter so much. So stop being scared, Ben said simply. It's way more fun when you're around. Nathan pulled the boy into a hug, feeling small arms wrap around his neck. How had he convinced himself he didn't belong in this child's life? How had he nearly walked away from the best thing that had ever happened to him? Can you help me with something? Nathan asked, pulling back to look at Ben. I need to ask your mom something important, but I think I need your permission first. Ben's face lit up with understanding. Are you going to ask her to marry you? If you're okay with it. Will you teach me to build skyscrapers? Every single one will have secret passages. Okay then, you can marry her. 3 weeks later, Nathan sat in Maple and Main Cafe, in the same corner booth where this had all started. His hands trembled slightly as he adjusted the small velvet box on the table. Beside it lay a folded napkin, the original drawing Ben had made, now laminated and creased for being carried everywhere. Maya walked in with Ben, and Nathan's heart stuttered at the sight of her. She'd been cautious since he'd pulled away, treating him like something fragile that might break again. He stood as they approached. "Why are we back here?" Maya asked, confused but smiling. Ben bounced on his toes. "This is where you met, Mom. Don't you remember?" Nathan took Maya's hand, feeling the paint stains on her fingers, the calluses from holding brushes, all the beautiful details that made her real. "I've been an idiot. That's not the romantic start I expected," Maya said, but her voice was gentle. "I overheard you on the phone. About being worried I'd realized this life wasn't for me. And I got scared because you were right. This wasn't the life I planned. But Maya, it's the life I want. The only life I want." He opened the box, revealing a simple silver ring. "I'm not scared anymore." "Well, I'm terrified, but that's different. I'm terrified of losing you both." Maya's hand flew to her mouth, tears spilling over. Ben tugged Nathan's sleeve. "You're supposed to actually ask the question." Nathan laughed through his own tears. "Maya Torres, will you marry me?" "Say yes, Mom," Ben whispered loudly. "I already gave him permission." Maya was laughing and crying simultaneously, nodding before she found words. "Yes. Yes, of course, yes." Nathan slid the ring on her finger, then swept Ben into the embrace. The three of them tangled together in the middle of the cafe while other patrons applauded. Ben's voice rose above the noise. "Does this mean I can call you Dad?" Nathan's answer was muffled against the boy's hair, but it sounded very much like yes. Sunlight streamed through the cafe windows, painting everything gold. The same table where a lonely architect had almost walked away now held everything he didn't know he needed. A woman who painted melancholy trees and made them beautiful. A boy who asked impossible questions and demanded secret passages in every building. And a future that looked nothing like the blueprints he'd drawn, but was infinitely better than anything he could have designed alone. The sound of their laughter filled the space, layered with hope and promise, and the kind of joy that comes from unexpected beginnings. Sometimes the best architecture isn't about buildings at all. Sometimes it's about building a life with the people brave enough to love you despite your fears, and the children wise enough to call you out on them. If this story reminded you that love often arrives in unexpected packages, subscribe for more heartwarming tales. Drop a comment below and tell us about your own unexpected beginning. And hit that like button if you believe in second chances and 4-year-olds who see the truth adults try to hide. Because sometimes the best stories start with showing up to the wrong date at exactly the right time.